Jackie Jr. back talking to myself. Like I always say, feel free to chime in. If not, I don't give a fuck. Uh, I want to talk about how people always do what their grandparents used to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh man, I cook like this because my grandma or my granddad did, or I'm gonna whoop my kids because my grandma and my granddad did. Probably the only damn thing you probably learn good from your grandparents, especially if it's a great grandparent, like they 70, 80, 90 years old now, is probably how to get your ass up and go to work, and that's from your granddaddy. Now the fucked up thing that he'll probably tell you do is bring the check home and give it to the missus. Hmm? No, it don't work like that. For what? Ain't nobody doing that. So yeah, you listening to grandma? They not the. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I love my grandparents. I do, but I'm gonna keep it real. You know what I'm saying? They're not the best cooks. They cook to their liking. They cook what they had. It's 2022. We have more things, even though they had the same shit, but they was only cooking a certain way. So don't tell me you know how to cook cause you know how to cook cause you got taught by your mama or your grandmama cause your mama taught from your mama. No, just because you can fry chicken and make burgers and shit like that, that don't mean you can cook. You know what I'm saying? That don't mean goddamn you got skills. I ain't gonna lie, I see something, and I ain't just saying this because that's what I do for a living. I'm just saying, some of y'all should be embarrassed of them plates y'all be posting. I be looking like, so in your mind, that shit, but again, artists in the eyes of the artist, I guess. I'm gonna like what I do, but I mean, I know what people not gonna like. I'm not gonna just. I mean, I guess. I don't want to be judgmental. Fuck it, I'm being judgmental. Some of that shit be like, and it don't be no jokes. It be for real. Y'all really think y'all be getting down though. Leave the cooking to the cooks. You know what I'm saying? Just like you don't see motherfucker just doing open heart surgery and shit. You leave that shit to the surgeons and shit. Leave the cooking to the cooks. Leave certain things to the people that do certain things. You know what I'm saying? Granddad did every damn thing because he didn't have a choice. You know what I'm saying? You have a choice. You can pay people to do that shit. That way it don't get fucked up. That way it don't get half done. I mean, I guess you want to say I built these with these two hands. If you know how to do it, then do it. But if you don't waste your time and money trying to do some shit you know you can't do because your granddaddy did it. That shit don't hold no fucking. That shit just don't. It's irrelevant. We live in totally different times. You can look at a motherfucker on your phone and talk to him now. They can walk you through the shit if they know how to do it. It's totally different now. Same thing with the. I learned how to cook from my grandma. Okay, and everything grandma said was alright. I ain't trying to be funny, but Granny couldn't even read. Grandpa probably can read a little bit. He ain't had no choice. He got to do the taxes and all that shit. He still had to pay that shit. But Granny couldn't even read, and she telling your ass how to be an adult. That's what I'm saying. Like, I ain't talking about all grannies. I'm talking about the original motherfuckers who y'all base y'all whole. Oh man, this where the family tree starts. Yeah, it starts there. Thank you. But now we have to unlearn that shit and learn new shit. That's all I'm saying. Just because that's what you're familiar with don't mean that's the right way. That's why a lot of motherfuckers do have like high blood pressure and shit like that because that's what they were told to do. Put that pork in them greens, goddammit. No, cook them greens with them greens. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what we were taught. So if it ain't got pork fat in it and all that shit, it ain't got no flavor to it. That's what we think. Which is false because there's other ways to cook the shit. But you gonna do it the way Granny told you how to do it. Let me tell you one thing you always notice though about Granny and Grandpapa. Grandpapa ain't never helped you with your motherfucking homework, did he? Because that shit is foreign to him. And I mean, love and respect him at the utmost, but don't value your life around the past. You'll never learn shit. And I know a lot of motherfuckers be saying, like, do he take it on the body? As much as I can. I wouldn't be saying it if I ain't trying to live by what I say. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is. I mean, I don't do nothing the same way my grandma, grandfather, father, mother. I don't do nothing the same way. If I did the same way, then what would be my purpose? To come and copy a motherfucker? Come following behind somebody? No, I ain't got time for that shit. I'm gonna do this shit the way I'm gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? Then I'm gonna pass it on, and then my child can mix it up the way she wanna mix it up, and she can pass it on, and then they can do whatever. See what I'm saying? Even if you didn't take something, I mean, you learn something. You learn shit what not to do. You see what I'm saying? That's learning something. Like, you can watch a motherfucker do the opposite, and you could be successful because they've been failing all this time. But if you watch this motherfucker and see what this motherfucker doing, and then you do it the opposite, you be successful. Instead of just following up behind a motherfucker because, you know what I'm saying, it's blood and, you know, you feel obligated to carry on the legacy and all this goofy ass shit. No, I don't think like that. I'm gonna create my own narrative, and my narrative gonna always change. Cause I'm gonna change my own narratives if it need to be changed. But you know, I'm the type of person where I control my own narrative. You know, I want to be able to move how I want to move. You know what I'm saying, within the laws, because you ain't doing shit that you want to do anyway. Period. You just do what you can do within your limitations. So, yeah, break the old way of thinking like grandma and granddaddy. You know what I'm saying, and grow up and use your own mind and stop passing that shit down to your kids. Cause they can't handle this shit. They don't know about they shelter now. You know what I'm saying? They shelter now. And grandma and granddad ain't had no shelter. You know what I'm saying? Some of them did. Some of them were slaves. Some of them they made out of it. Now it's up to you to figure out what they couldn't figure out, or what, you know. And that's why very few of us succeed. Yeah, that's gonna be the next thing I talk about, succeeding. It's gonna be in part 2 of this. So, yeah, like I said, I'm just talking to myself. You take what you want to take from that. I mean, I probably said a bunch of gibberish because I ain't want to get too. So sometimes I have to catch what I say, and I have to reword it real quick because I don't want to offend nobody. But if you're offended, then I mean, hey, you probably one that need to listen. Most of the people that get offended are the ones that need to actually hear what the fuck the person that's being said that they saying offended them. And that's what it is.